Hey guys, it's Kelly Commentates. Welcome to another episode of Skate to the Point. This is Unfiltered Ice Chat number 10. Today we're going to talk about the new schedule that ISU announced, the Olympic qualifier that's going to be in Beijing, China. And also the 2025 Grand Prix schedule came out. To my knowledge, not the locations, but the schedule. And some other figure skating news. We're going to talk about Amber Glenn. She gave an interview with NBC this week. So I will play that interview at the very end, but I'll also talk about it. And we'll talk about Europeans 2022. Those medals are going to be reallocated due to Kamila Valieva's ban and testing positive for a banned substance. So stick with me. Let's get skate to the point. Perhaps the biggest news is that the ISU met recently on December 11, and they decided to allocate the figure skating qualifying Olympic competition to Beijing, China. It's going to take place in Beijing from September 17 to 21, 2025. The ISU won't meet again until January 16, 2025. So this is just something that they announced after this session. This competition is going to replace the Nablehorn Trophy, which used to be one of the final opportunities for skaters to qualify for the Olympics. I'm not exactly sure how it all works precisely, but to my understanding, you have to get a certain number of ISU points, you have to meet tech minimums, and then obviously, your country likely has to have a spot or you get to qualify based on your scoring. So this competition will be really important and it'll be really fun to see it go to China. I think that will be very, very exciting. In other news, you guys, Wenjing Shui from the famous Shui and Han, the Olympic champions in pair skating from Beijing, Wenjing Shui just announced that she is going to team up again and return to skating. She's pairing up with Li Zhen, so Han has announced that he will not be returning, and Shui's goal is to reach the Milano Cortina Olympics. I was reading that Team China has not won a pairs medal on the Grand Prix circuit since 2021 when Shui and Han were still performing and competing. So this is really exciting news. I think this throws a whole wrench and into the plan of other skaters. I mean, they're going to have to watch out for her because as long as I don't know Li Zhen, her new partner, but if he's anything like Han or if she can get him to the position that he needs, I mean, obviously she can be really competitive. Some people might think there's not really enough time for her to, get into Olympic ready shape. But you have to remember, she's done this for so long. She's been choreographing for other Team China members, and I'm sure she's been keeping in shape. So really, I mean, think about when Alexa Knierim and Brandon Fraser teamed up. Within about a year, they were very successful and, eventually won the world. So it's definitely a possibility. I think that if I were a pairs skater right now, especially some of those top teams, I would start being a little more mindful, a little worried. Although, of course, skaters say they just focus on themselves, which truly is the best thing to do. But it'll be so interesting to see what Shui ends up doing. Okay, ISU also announced the schedule for the Grand Prix for 2025. I am so glad that we get to know the dates and the locations, but the schedule's kind of weird this year, you guys. So in 2025, the first Grand Prix is going to be, as it usually is, Skate America. Now, keep in mind, even though the countries have been allocated, I don't think the specific locations have been nailed down yet, at least not what I could find. So I don't know where in America Skate America will be, but it'll be happening from 17 to 19 October 2025. And then after Skate America, it's going to be Cup of China. Normally, I mean, for as long as I can remember, it's been Skate America followed by Skate Canada or Patinage Canada. And I just love that. I feel like it's just like a 1-2 whammy in North America back to back. So we're throwing a little wrench in that, and we're going to China from 24 to 26 October 2025. Then we'll have Skate Canada the following weekend from October 31 to November 2, 2024. I remember one year Ashley Wagner won Skate Canada on Halloween on October 31, and I always thought that was kind of funny. The fourth competition will be NHK Trophy from November 7 to 9. I believe NHK was fourth this year as well, although it was a little bit later in the month of November. Grand Prix de France will be 5th from November 14 to 16, and we'll be ending with Finlandia Trophy, which they did say is in Helsinki, Finland, from November 21 to 23, 2025. The Grand Prix final for juniors and seniors will be December 4 through 7, 2025, and from all I could see, no location was announced yet. What do you guys think of this order of the Grand Prix assignments for next year? Also, where do you think the Grand Prix final will be? I kind of hope for the Grand Prix final that they do it at like a different location that wasn't one of the Grand Prix locations, if that makes sense, or like a different country. I almost think like an up-and-coming country like Slovakia, or maybe a place like Switzerland or Mexico, just somewhere different that they haven't really gone or done a Grand Prix, I think would be really, really exciting. On to other news, USFS, or US Figure Skating, announced the location for the 2026 Nationals. They're going to take place in St. Louis, Missouri. And it's basically like the Olympic trials. It's like one of the final competitions before they decide the Olympic team. I think it's kind of interesting they're going to St. Louis. I could see myself going to St. Louis to go check that out. I think that might be kind of fun. So kind of interesting that now we know where the Olympic team will be decided. On to other news. Russian sources are saying that the medals from the 2022 Europeans are going to be reallocated due to Kamila Valieva, being found guilty of having a banned substance in her system during those Olympics. Those results are going to be changed. So what's going to happen is Anna Sherbakova from Russia will get the gold medal. Sasha Trusova from Russia will get silver, so she'll move up. And then Luna Hendricks from Belgium will get the bronze medal. I think this is the right decision. I think any results that were in question should be updated and therefore the medals reallocated. I think that's only fair. We expect sport to be clean. That's just kind of a given. There's no ifs and or buts about that, in my opinion. In other news, Yuzuru Hanyu's old coach, Jeff Dionisio, posted a clip of Yuzu trying a quintuplet jump, so that would be 5 revolutions on a harness. It didn't look clean to me in the video that was posted, but very interesting to know that Yuzuru was working on quint jumps. And I do know that that is something Ilya Malinin, the current quad god, has also hinted at he possibly be working on. I think it's really exciting when these different men's skaters want to push the sports. It does make you look into, what are the limits of the human body and, what are we capable of? Now, of course, jumps aren't everything, so it's just one part of figure skating, but I think it is interesting nonetheless that Yuzuru was found to have been trying them. In other news, a documentary about Alyona Kosternaya from Russia, who was formerly with Eteri Tutberidze, but is now a pair skater, is going to be coming out soon. It was recently announced. It was reported the filmmakers took over 24 hours of interviews, and they include very frank, open, and first-time interviews from Alyona's own mother. Also, her skating partner Gosha is interviewed as well as Alyona herself. So we're really going to get some insight into her skating career and everything that's led her up to this point so far. That's definitely something to look out for, and I'm excited to see how that documentary comes out. And finally, the queen, Grande Dame herself of the Grand Prix final, Amber Glenn, she gave an interview on the Today Show, so I thought it would be fun for me to go ahead and post it at the end of this podcast. I'm really happy that USFS is having Amber, give interviews and kind of be an ambassador for the sport. We definitely need to drum up more interest for figure skating. That's just something very close and dear to my heart. And it's so nice to see her out and about giving interviews. So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch the interview. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Over and out. This is Kelly Commentates.
Morning, good morning. Could you relive that moment for us? Because it was a long time coming, and it seemed to have, it almost felt like a surprise to you. What was it like in that moment to know that you had done that?
Absolutely incredible. I mean, I've been on the Grand Prix circuit since 2017, so to have even made it to such a prestigious event, I was just happy to be there. So to win, come out, I was in, you can see, I was in complete shock. And then my competitors.
Oh, yeah, so that is so, explain this, because those are the Japanese competitors who, by the way, you had just beat, paying an homage to you. What, tell us about that.
The camaraderie and sportsmanship of those ladies it just makes my heart so full.
That's your final move, right?
It is. At the ending of the program, I look up very dramatically, and so they're just reenacting it as like a show of support, and it's...
Let's talk about what has changed for you, because you've been in this for a long, long time, and then you have this kind of crowning moment at you're 26 years old, is that right?
25, yeah.
25 years old at this moment. So what has changed for you that brought you to this moment?
It's been a huge mental game for me. I've had all the capabilities since a young age physically, and it's been about prioritizing my mental health, and honestly, some meditation has really helped.
I mean, talk about that, because it's so, I thought that was so interesting to hear you say that. It's like physically you were there and you could have been there, and you've been there this whole time. You've been skating at an elite level since you were a young teen. But the mental game, I mean, that's what makes a champion. Then you seem to have conquered that right now.
For sure. I mean, it was just in such a deep psychological level. I'd get halfway through a performance and kind of realize I'm performing for thousands of people on live TV, and it would kind of scare me. So I've been working with a neurotherapist, and it's been very helpful to just stay locked in and to also get to enjoy these amazing performances I get to do around the world.
So what are you saying to yourself? Because I was just thinking about Simone Biles, who went through some difficult times and decided she was going to come back, and she had this sort of laser focus. Is there something that you tell yourself before you start?
So, as of recent, a kind of motto has been calm beast.
Calm beast.
Calm beast.
Like
it started from one of my coaches at the rink, and it's just to have that calmness and serenity that you can see in figure skating while maintaining the powerful athleticism that it takes to nail those elements. So just having a combination of the two kind of just puts me in that great zone.
I love that.
I love it
Beast
too.
mode, but calm.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it. So we have to ask, I mean, are the Olympics something that you're aiming for? I mean, it's still a couple years away, so that's a lot of work between now and then.
For sure. I mean, this is what all this is building up to. We're going to have the U.S. Prevagen National Championships in 2025 in this January, and then we'll go on to try and qualify a spot for the Boston World Championships, and that just leads into the Olympics.
Well,
we're cheering you on, Amber. Congrats again.
Well done,
what a great
Amber.
moment.
Already making history. Thank you.
Amber's going to be back, by the way, in the third hour, and you can catch Amber back on the ice at next month's U.S. Figure Skating Championship on NBC, USA, and Peacock.